My domestic abuse really started when I was a child. I observed a lot of fighting from the crib. Being a child of Holocaust survivors, I learned how to be anxious. I grew up imagining what my parents went through and the family they lost, and then walking into gas chambers and choking. My parents would blame me for my pain, told me I was crazy, told me I was wrong. It became part of the paradigm that is what domestic life is. It's a fight, mostly to prove that you're not wrong and that you're not an idiot. So it's really about defending yourself. So I think that's the pattern I got into. When it comes to relationships, it's so insidious because I really didn't think that happiness in a relationship was at all possible. So what happens when we're in a traumatic situation where someone is being abusive or just crazy? For me, it's like my brain gets blown to smithereens, and then it takes sometimes a while for me to figure out what just happened. Why is that wrong? What was it about what they said that was hurting? What part of this was mine? And then the guilt comes up.
Yeah.
How do you figure out what's going on if you're filled with shame? I have to wait until it's a little more cohesive, and we look back at the abuse, we pluck it out and look at it, and we go, wow, to them I'm an object. They're not seeing me, they're seeing whatever they're projecting. That is not so apparent in the moment when you're fighting for your body and your soul.
Even when I think back about what happened, it still doesn't make sense, but I'm like, my brain and that person's brain are completely different. I will never understand it because I'm not wired that way.
Yeah, this is not something that's easily taught, but it would be something that would be really great to hear in grade school. Like, okay, kids, people are going to say some weird shit. They are going to do some crazy stuff. You are going to feel something called overwhelmed. If you were blamed a lot, you're probably going to repeat the pattern. You're probably going to internalize it. You'll probably start doing it to yourself, catch yourself, and stop and learn that you really have to be your own best friend, because people out there are not what you think they might be. I have this like little mantra now, and it's like, help me see people for who they really are rather than for who I wish they were.
Yeah.
I was easily manipulated, being a girl who always wanted her parents' acceptance, to a woman who just couldn't stop the pattern. Remember Alan Thicke? He shot a show up in Montreal, and I starred on the show, and he asked me to come down to LA to be on his new show called Fernwood Tonight. He said, yeah, come play her. When I got here, he introduced me to the actress who had played her, the character I created. A photographer told me that it was just normal for actresses to go down on the photographers. He had given me, I don't know what kind of pills, but alcohol for sure. And I was so traumatized, I went into a real spiral. That's where I really hit the drugs and alcohol. I learned how to beg for someone's attention who wasn't capable of giving you their attention. I have a sister who's 11 years older. I would have loved a bond with her. She had a problem with me. Within 5 minutes of me talking to my sister, I would always find myself defending my very existence. And I always blame myself for that. I kept putting myself out there, and I put myself in such dangerous situations with her. My cousin Molly was so nice to me. 5 or 6 years ago, I was dying. So I called Molly and I begged her to come out. And she told me she has a real problem flying. Okay, fast forward to last year. Her husband had some kind of like attack at LAX when they were here. And I'm like, you were at LAX. And she said, oh, don't make this about you. Kind of like talking to someone who was deeply invested in defending themselves and not opening to hearing. It really affected me. It physically painful. It hurt. It hurt. Ooh, ew. I'm not getting one from someone who says that they're a psychologist, someone who knows the mind and who's always lectured me. My mother was a hugger based on her needs, a narcissistic hugger. I never got what I needed, the comfort I needed, if she didn't feel like comforting. She couldn't hug me when I needed her to. So when things happened to me, and then also when later on, if I tried to blame her for anything, of course, then she would push me away even more. And that's when she became hostile if I tried to blame her. So I think that really hurt me, is not being able to get the comfort when I needed. And I think a lot of children of narcissistic parents, they don't get what they need. They get what the parents need. I need to yell at you right now. I need to hit you right now. I'm so frustrated because you did that thing, but it's my frustration, but I can't blame, myself because I'm too insecure. I'm going to blame you, kid.
Oh my goodness. I wish I could hug you. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you feel this way. I'm so sorry that this is going on. I'm so sorry.
Oh. Actually, thank you. That helped. Sometimes what happens after the trauma that makes it so much worse. And sometimes what we're doing is we're trying to maybe recreate the trauma in order to understand it, to get some clarity. But a lot of times it's just obsessing. And that's one of the valuable things about talk therapy, about friendship, about Zooming. You got to get this stuff out of your brain and out of your mouth.
Or it'll toxify you.
I was feeling toxic. Find the humor between each crisis. Because that's, my mother said that life was like a roller coaster, up and down, and who would know better? Laugh whenever you can. Save your life. It boosts your immune system.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.